are, what you do, where you've been. Let the people know who you are.
Shit, so yeah, I'm Marcus Thompson from Webster Groves, Missouri. Went to Webster Groves High School with you. Should have known each other for a minute, like going on what, like 10 years of friendship now with it, which is crazy. But yeah, I went to Webster, then went to school down in Houston at Rice University, studied sport management there. Did kind of everything under the sun. Worked for the Texans, worked for Rice Athletics, different just kind of different things around sports, kind of like build up my resume. And then when I graduated, I started with the company UTA. It's like a talent agency. They represent all types of actresses, musicians, but they also are partnered with Clutch Sports Group, and that's kind of the reason I started there was because I knew I wanted to get to Clutch at some point. I did like 4 months in the mailroom at UTA, just kind of grinding it out, interviewing for different desks, and like literally every person I interviewed with was like, "You have a great resume, you're a great candidate, but you seem like a great candidate for Clutch. So we're nervous about like, are you gonna stay on our desk if an opportunity at Clutch opens up?" And honestly, like all of them were right. Like as soon as the opportunity at Clutch opened up, I was gonna take it, and that's kind of how it happened. After I was in the mailroom, I got a desk in talent. 3 months into the desk, Rich Paul's desk opened up, and I was like, shoot, this is my chance. This is what I came here for, so I got to go for it. I applied, and 2 months later, I started on his desk. So now I'm Rich's assistant, and it's been a ride going on like 9 months now. And shoot, I've been out of school for like 18 months. So it's kind of crazy, like how quickly things have progressed, but it's dope for sure.
I think it's cool getting you on here because we're both doing things like in the world of basketball.
Yeah.
And then that's how we met was through basketball. I think middle school was when we first met at those camps. And then high school, like you said, we were teammates. Practice competing against each other. And you couldn't guard me. So just give me like your insight on that.
I mean, I feel like I locked you up almost every time. Like, shoot, actually, I don't know if I was going to tell this story, but there was one time in practice, I just had him in a torture chamber. Like, I was clamping him up all practice long. He got so mad at me. He threw an elbow at my head, chucked the ball at me.
See, here's the thing with Marcus, all right? Is he likes to get his forearms and his elbows in your rib cage. And what sucked is because you were shorter than me, so you could like get up under me and then elbow my rib cage when the ball's over here, just give me these like petty jabs. Bro, by like practice 50, you go through 8 hours of school. The last thing you want to be doing is this. I spun, which I didn't throw you an elbow. I just chinned it like I was taught. And then you gave me an elbow, and I was a pup back then, so you shoved me. And so I was going out of bounds, and I was like, bro, threw it at you. And I think you just laughed after that happened.
No, I did that. Because I liked, like I said, you were a little bit of a pup, but when we woke the dog up, you know what I'm saying? It was always fun. Like when you got a little mad, it was fun to run with. But yeah, I do think, you know what I'm saying, I still can guard you. I think if we took it one-on-one right now, you get a few buckets off because of the height in the shot, but it's still Clamp City.
I mean, that's definitely not true, but we used to get it in at, what was that part, Warson?
Yeah, shit. We used to run them shits at Warson.
Dude, we would do like,
do 5.
It wasn't like one shot. We would just go continuous.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Shit was tiring.
Right.
But
that shit's fire.
So then WG, 4 years there. We get to Rice, sports management, you said? Okay. And then, did you overlap with AJ LaPrade though?
Don't think so.
You know who that is? He went to Rice. he hooped at Oregon and then transferred to Rice. And now he does like YouTube basketball stuff. But so then 4 years there, just talk about your time there, what it meant. Because it sounds like that kind of like, because you were saying that once you graduated, people looked at your resume like, wow, that's impressive. So kind of just talk about your 4 years, what that did for your career and just overall your experience.
Yeah, I just wanted to do any and everything. So like over my time there, in 4 years, I had like 7 internships. The last one I did was with Wasserman. because I think when I first got there, I didn't really know like what space I wanted to get into. Like I know I wanted to do sports, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to be like an executive on the team side, like a GM type. I didn't know if I wanted to be like an executive in the league office. I didn't know if I wanted to be a sports agent. So I kind of just wanted to like get all these experiences, work all these different internships to kind of like get a better idea of like what space I wanted to get into. And then the big turning point for me was uh, was honestly COVID, because I was supposed to start working with the Rockets. Um, and if I started working with the Rockets, I think I would have gone down like the team path. But then COVID hit, and I was supposed to start with the Rockets on a Thursday. That Wednesday, right before I was supposed to start, is the day they shut the NBA down, right? So like internship goes away, and at first I'm like, dang, like that really sucks. That really sucks. But then it kind of refocused me, and I ended up more so pursuing the agency path, and obviously like that's worked out. I ended up working with Wasserman for a little bit, kind of on their like football marketing side. And then my experience with Wasserman combined with some of my other like prior experiences helped me get the job at UTA, and yeah, like all of them, because it's like literally 7 internships, and all of them are sports related or sports field, and I was a sport management major. So like, yeah, I think they kind of knew like, yeah, he's here for a specific reason, and yeah.
And then, so if you would have gotten with the Rockets, did you see yourself getting like down the road if you were working with a team like a front office type position, or what would you have done?
Yeah, so I mean, my goal would have been to, like a GM. Growing up, that was kind of like one of my big dreams. Like I looked at like the Daryl Morris, Sam Presti's, you know what I'm saying, like all those types, and I was like, no, the way they get down is like it's kind of crazy, because it feels like they're just better at it than everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like Daryl Morey makes that trade for James Harden, he becomes a star, and like he looks like a genius. Sam Presti, like the
Shout out to
number
Sam
of rebuilds that OKC has like gone through,
Totally.
just like in our like little lifespan, is insane. Like the Russ, KD, James Harden, the Paul George and Russ, the shit and Melo, the like shit Victor Oladipo. You know what I'm saying? Like they just kind of run through like all these players who have like stayed good, not down for long. So like that was always something that was like really cool to me. Kind of like a path I wanted to maybe get into. Um, but I also kind of knew, like, I also knew it kind of played hand in hand with like my desire to get into agency, because like I looked at like a Bob Myers who's with the Warriors, and like he started as an agent, went over to the front office. Um, so I was kind of like looking at it from both ways, but I did always want to potentially get to the front office. The position with the Rockets was going to be like basketball operations, so it kind of would have been like really the ground floor and all that, and yeah, I would have got rocking from there.
Is a goal of yours still to be in the front office or a GM?
I think now it'd either be an agent or the league office. Like, I think those two are kind of like, yeah, where I would end up. Like, a team would be cool, but that's like a distant third now.
Okay. And league office would be more like Adam Silver assistant type thing?
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
So kind of overseeing everything.
Yeah.
All right. So then, because I remember you were, I didn't know you had 7 internships. Because I remember you had the deal with the Texans.
Yeah. See, I mean, like some of them is like it was like 3 different internships with Rice Athletics.
Okay.
And then it was Texans. This venture capitalist firm that's actually out here in St. Louis, Stadia Ventures, and they do like sports and esports related startups. Which I did that the summer after my freshman year of college, and that was really cool. Um, Wasserman, and then one more I'm blanking on. Texans. Shit, it might have been 4 with Rice Athletics. Basketball manager, marketing, operations. And then yeah, one more out there, but
So
kept me busy
when you
for
move
sure.
in the way we're moving, it's hard to keep
Yeah,
track.
no, it definitely it gets a little hard to keep track for sure. But
So then, graduate from Rice, and then, so you said you got a gig with, it's called UT?
UTA, yeah,
UTA.
United Talent Agency, and it's like one of the big, like UTA, CAA, WME are kind of like the big like talent agencies. Um, so it's like one of the big 3, and it's been great. You kind of like it's like the like true traditional agent path. You come in the mailroom, work your way up to an assistant, um, and then just kind of like keep progressing from there. And yeah, that's been
That's kind of cool from the mailroom to where you are now.
for
So
sure.
the mailroom, you're like, is that what it sounds like?
Yeah, you're delivering mail, you're covering desks like an assistant's out sick. Um, you're kind of doing, all like the little things that need to be done around the office to help keep it moving. Um, and, make like the agents and the assistants like their lives a little bit easier. So like, yeah, no, it's cool though, because it's like so many agents, especially at UTA, like literally came through that same mailroom, and all like the people in our mailroom had like been there for 20 plus years. They're like, oh yeah, I saw this agent who's now a partner. Um, they came through the mailroom. You know what I'm saying? So like seeing that progression and then seeing the people that are like there and made it, like it kind of gives you that to strive for because it's like, okay, they did it, I can definitely do
And so when I think of Clutch Sports or Rich Paul, that's like the top in terms of representing players, agencies. Like, I think that's to like the common fan, maybe, like the most recognizable name. So Clutch Sports to me is like the top. My question is like, why was Clutch Sports always the goal for you? Was it because that's like the top, like
it. Yeah,
top
I
of the
mean,
mountain?
it's definitely it's the top of the mountain, but then it's also like Rich is just different from any other agent, right? So like he's one that always wants to like break the mold, kind of like push things forward. So like if you're, what I'm saying, like if you're someone that views yourself as that, like that's the type of person you want to align yourself with, right? Like you don't want to align with the other agencies where it is kind of like cookie cutter and everything like that. Like you want to be with someone that's gonna like be the trailblazer, and kind of like learning from that, because like just like his cumulative life experiences, but then also his experiences as an agent is like there's no other agents that have those. So like yeah, that's kind of like definitely the person you want to rock with.
So then you get the call saying you got the job at the desk.
Yeah.
You do what you need to do in the days leading up, and then like your first interaction with him. Are
So
you starstruck or is it just normal?
prior to I had it because like so we work out of like the same office like UTA and Clutch.
Gotcha.
I had like a couple run-ins with him. I do remember like the first time I ran into him in the office. Like I literally words didn't come to my mouth, but like I just made sure that I like because like I was walking through like our little like hallway, and then he started walking the other way, and I kind of did a double take, and then he looked and saw me, and he's like, "Oh, what's up, bro?" So like words didn't come to my mouth, but I made sure I like spun around and just shook his hand. And then I was like, yeah, and then kept walking. Like didn't say my name, didn't say nothing. I was like, damn, I probably should have told him my name or something. Um, so that was like my first ever interaction with him. Just like super quick, super brief. And then my second interaction with him, first I interviewed with like the prior assistant before me, and then I interviewed with him. And the first, like the interview was really like 15 minutes. We chopped it up a little bit. I told him a little bit about my background. We talked about St. Louis because he has family out here. Actually lived out here for a little bit. Um, so we talked a little bit about St. Louis. Kind of had that like a little bit of a connection, and then the next like 45 minutes was just me kind of like listening in on calls. And his assistant before me, Georgia, she was like, "Yeah, like when he let you listen on calls," I was like, "That's a good sign." And I was like, "Sweet." And then like literally at the end of my interview with him, he introduces me to our COO Farron, and is like, "Yeah, this is Marcus, my new assistant." So that's kind of like how he broke it to me, and I was like, you know, but I still wasn't like certain until like Georgia called me a couple days later. I was like, "Yeah, Rich is going with you." Um, so yeah, no, it was kind of definitely a trip. First few interactions were wild, and then like obviously starting the desk, there was like a little bit of nervousness for sure. Um, Especially like just kind of getting used to and kind of like feeling each other out, like as you're starting to build that relationship. Um, but now it's like 9 months in, we kind of work and get to it.
What's a day in the life like? As a Clutch Sports agent.
So one thing when I was like coming up in my sports management, every time we talked to people that worked in the sports industry, they'd always say no one day is the same, and like I never really like quite believed it, But now that like I'm in this position, like I really can see it, like because there truly is no one day that is the same. Like there's just like kind of on any given day you can do any given thing, but then there are still like some kind of just like general tasks. Like I book a lot of travel, do a lot of scheduling, um, and then like just kind of like really anything in between. So like you have to handle like the administrative work, but then whatever personal or just random things that might come up on the administrative side. Um, so it keeps you busy for sure. As y'all saw, like literally before we started this podcast, um, I got a call, to order some stuff for the house that they need, or just like random things that kind of gotta pop up and you kind of gotta be ready for. Um, One thing about my day for sure is like there's really no off clock. So like I can get my first text at 6 a.m., my last text at 11 p.m. Text call, and I'm expected to answer, expected to kind of be ready and on call for it. Um, but yeah, it's just every day's a little bit different. It's just kind of like whatever the day requires is what you kind of have to be ready to do.
That's one of the things I wanted to ask you because I remember texting you a little bit a couple months back, and you were saying how like 3 a.m. you'll get a call and you like just have to answer it.
Yeah, because I mean, you deal with a lot of folks that are like on the East Coast and whatnot, and just so if something goes on real early on the East Coast and you're the point of contact they have, they're gonna call you, and yeah, you're getting woken up out of your sleep to kind of handle it, and then going right back to sleep. But it's kind of just, I think you definitely get used to it. Like at first, it was kind of like a culture shock because it was like, oh my goodness, like yeah, like I'm trying to sleep, but then yeah, you kind of get used to it a little bit. You become a little bit lighter sleeper, but you also get like I've always been kind of good at like falling back asleep, which is lucky. So it's like I get woken up and I'm right back out.
It's a skill.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment, I would have like maybe in the first week or something, where you're like, oh shit, like I don't know if I can do this. Just a nonstop, like 24/7 being on call.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I've always found myself like, kind of be like a bit of a grinder. So like I always feel like I could like handle kind of the workload with it. There were definitely times where like not more so like I don't know if I can do this, but there were like the occasional thoughts of like, dang, like this is really me in this position. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of definitely had to like pinch myself like early on a few times. Um, and yeah, so I do think that was kind of like an adjustment because it's like I do feel like in this space and like when you're kind of like in these elevated spaces, like day to day you have to stay elevated, right? And it feels like human nature is like, yeah, maybe you're gonna have a bad day or like the occasional kind of drop off, but like keeping that consistency to like stay at that elevated level every day, I think that was also kind of a challenge and something that you really kind of have to like lock in and focus on. Um, they're definitely something I did for sure.
That's a huge struggle for everyone. For me, for the guys I train, like bro, to show up every day consistently with, I mean, we could like being like competing physically at a level is one thing, but even just mentally being sharp every day is challenging.
No, for sure. Like, it takes work and it takes just kind of like, you are going to have your moments like where you are kind of like not on it, not with it, but then like knowing how to bounce back from that. And like just because maybe you start off the day bad doesn't mean you're going to finish the day bad, right? So like, yes, you started off slipping up, but then like having that short memory and then kind of bouncing right back and like getting right onto what you need to do. Like, but it's definitely very difficult and, super easy to like kind of dwell on things. And once you dwell on them, that just like, it spirals, but.
How has, so you grew up your whole life an NBA fan or just a basketball fan in general, watching it, playing it, and so you kind of have like this perspective of the game, and now that you're on like the more business side, and like you were saying in the interview, you're listening to him make phone calls, you're on phone calls today, like how has your 9 months here shaped the way you view basketball in general? Maybe
I
just
think,
the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, for me, so like, St. Louis doesn't have a team, right? So like, I was always kind of first and foremost, I was a fan of players, and then I started like to slowly have like teams I like. Like I like the Bulls just because of their proximity to St. Louis. I like the Rockets because I went to school down there. And then outside of that, like it was just kind of like whoever the guys I liked playing, like that's who I'd be rooting for. And outside of that, I just like a good game. Um, but now like with Clutch, it's kind of like you root for the Clutch guys. Um, and it definitely makes me more of like I'm very rarely like rooting one side or the other because like a lot of games we'll have like clients on both sides, so you're kind of like more so just watching, and it's kind of taking me back to just watching, hoping for good games, and put me like more into that bucket. And it's like obviously you root for the clients to do well, um, but yeah, it does kind of make me more of like a neutral observer, whereas like before maybe I'd be more invested one side or the other. Now it's like yeah, like I'm just trying to see these guys hoop. I'm trying to see these guys ball. Um, and go from there. Especially like as you kind of get to like meet some of them and know some of them, then it's like, oh yeah, no, I'm trying to see this man go out and kill. But yeah,
I bet being in your position, you see the more human side of them. Because I bet growing up, I'm sure we were just talking about fantasy.
yeah,
It's kind of just like a video game in a way, but then to actually like talk to them and stuff, I bet that's pretty cool.
no, it's dope. Like a couple months back, we had De'Aaron Fox in the office. Hands down, like coolest, nicest guy I've ever met. And then I was also thinking about he's only like 2 years older than us. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
it's also kind of crazy. Like, obviously, like, yes, they're professional athletes, and like where they're at is like different than us, but then they're also not very different from us. They're like they're all kind of like still people. Um, so it has been dope. Like, it's been cool to see.
I bet that's weird isn't the right word, but like you kind of have these NBA players kind of on a pedestal to some degree. I mean, they're the
Yeah.
450 best in the world. And then to get to talk to them, like you said, like they're human.
They're just like real cool people. Um, it is like interesting because like you think like like they're like this, like they're not gonna be like what I'm saying, like they're not gonna really mess with me or anything like that. But they've all been super cool, super kind. Um, yeah, but I also think part of that's like just a testament to like the type of client Rich goes after. Like he's always looking for like high character people. Um, and I think that reflects like so we just got a roster of like high character guys, so like they're all gonna kind of be cool and chill, and maybe if some of the other agencies not so much. We got the we got the pains and the butts, but
If that's the case, I bet there's probably potential clients that got turned down just because it wasn't a good fit,
yeah, well,
personality wise, or
yeah, I think right because I think with the agency it kind of goes both ways. It has to be a good fit for the player, has to be a good fit for the agent. If it's not on one of those sides, it's not really gonna work out.
are there other specific things Clutch looks for in players? Like I get even just like agencies in general. Like I guess you're looking for. I mean, it's a partnership. It has to be mutually beneficial. So like, you're probably looking for someone that you feel like their trajectory is kind of up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously, like you always want prospects for sure, but then you also want good kid, good family. Like I think, like if you have a good player that has good character and comes from a good family, like I think those three will take you like a very far way, because like so much of the NBA, like yes, your talent is a part of it, but then who you are in the locker room, who you are as a member of the team is also such a big part of it, right? And like that part kind of behind the scenes is what's going to open up a lot more opportunities. Like yeah, like sure there are some people that are like super talented by virtue of their talent are going to get like further opportunities, but then there's also people that maybe they're talented, but maybe there's some people more talented, but because they like fit the culture, they'll play their role, they'll do what's asked of them. Like it takes their talent from here to here. Um, and they'll get opportunities based off of that. So I think like just finding like those kind of people that can fit in any team infrastructure, that have the talent, but then also just have like the character um, to kind of back it up as well. Like I think that's a great way to go.
And then, kind of like from a business side, I mean, the goal, I guess, right, would be like you said, a player that, because of their personality and maybe their skill set, you can kind of like plug and play them. So like journeyman or rollman type thing. I'm assuming from like a business perspective, I guess it's not even that bold of a claim, but like you'd want someone that's employed for a long time. And so I think that's interesting because there's like a lot of similarities between that and like how colleges recruit.
Yeah.
High character, good family, plays a role, good skill set. I think that's fire.
Yeah, I think those are the players that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can have a player that's wildly talented, but if they don't have it up here, they'll burn out of the league, you know? 'Cause especially, like, there's so many talented players looking to get in the NBA. Like, I think the leash is, like, getting shorter and shorter because, like, talent level just keeps rising. So, like, that's definitely what you want to be on the lookout for.
Shit. Okay, number one, we were talking about that. We were texting about that, how there's like certain guys in the league that don't have a job and others do because of their personality and like willingness to kind of like mentor other people and stuff. You brought up kind of like where the game is going. Where do you think the game is going? You think it's going to be a bunch of like 7 foot, like a starting five will be all 7 foot? Because that's the way I think it's going.
I mean, I think, shoot, the 7 footers are definitely getting more skills. I don't know if it's going to be like enough athletic 7 footers for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I do think, yeah, we're going to, I think we can start seeing, you know, some like 2 to 3 7 foot fronts, you know? Like, you got 2 7 footers, you got 3 7 footers starting. Like, that could be fire. But outside of that, like, I don't know. I think right now there's a little bit more of an emphasis, like especially with like guard play. There's a little bit more of an emphasis on like the skill over like the athleticism and explosion. Um, so like you're seeing, you know, because like SGA and Tyrese Halliburton, like they're not like SGA is kind of quick, but like they're not, you know what I'm saying, like they're not those uber athletic types. They're not like those, you know, but they'll give you hell because like they're just so precise. Like they're gonna get where they want to get. They're gonna open things up for their teammates. They're gonna kind of do everything under the sun. Um, so like I do think, yeah, for guards specifically, like they'll kind of be in that, like, yeah, they're gonna look for more skilled people that kind of play at their pace. I do think bigs is gonna keep transitioning to the kind of like we're looking for skilled bigs and the Victor Wembanyama types, the Chets, you know. Um, I do think they're gonna move that way, but like you're also still gonna have like your occasional, you know, just traditional big bodies. Like Klingon's probably gonna be a lottery pick this year. Um, so like, and he's just, you know what I'm saying, he's just a big body. But then you also see like the difference between like a Klingon and an Edie. You know what I'm saying? Like one's probably gonna go lotto, the other's probably gonna go second round, and the one that's going second round is like the best player in college basketball. So like you can be big, but there's also just like certain skills you need to have in the big men. Um, Whether that's, you know, switchability, a little bit of ability to shoot, maybe they can handle the rock. Like as long as your big start to have some kind of versatility, I think those are kind of be like the guys that get looks. And then honestly, I've kind of been feeling like this for a while. I feel like the game is more so trending towards like the point wings, you know. Um, like I think that's kind of like those, you know, a guy that's 6'6" to 6'8" can handle the rock, can kind of do a little bit of everything, you know, like Thompson twins in this most recent draft class. Obviously, like a LeBron type, a Kate Cunningham type, a Luka type, low key, because he's 6'7", handling the rock every possession. It's like they call him a point guard, but to me, you know what I'm saying? Like just kind of like those archetype of players where it's like they've got size, but you can put the ball in their hands. So they can survey everything on the floor. They can go and get theirs. Like that to me is like the ideal player. Anywhere 6'6" to 6'8" can handle the rock and kind of do what you need to do.
Jack of all trades type thing.
Yeah.
I think those players are super valuable. We talked about like kind of plugging and playing guys earlier. If you can do all of that on the ball, shit, you brought up LeBron. So like if you can go, that's a perfect player for LeBron. Someone that can like handle the rock, kind of get us into some offense, maybe even get their own bucket. But then also those catch and shoot threes, just kind of like that all around game.
Where you can play you on or off. And, I do think that's like if you can get one of them, and they're rare, but I do think those are they're becoming more and more common because I think everybody's like starting to handle the rock more. So like as that goes on, then
See, that's what I'm thinking, bro. Like when we talk about the evolution, okay, we got Wemby, or even like the Steph effect. This next generation is pulling up to the court, lacing their shoes up, and the first shot they shoot is from 30 feet, which I mean, I don't have a problem with. But like, the guys in the league now are what the next generation looks up to. So then the sixth grader is out there practicing Steph Curry shots. And then, I mean, we've seen the transcendence in skill amongst players is just through the roof compared to like 10, 20 years ago, whatever it is. So I feel like it's just even going to get more, regardless of height.
It's going to keep, that's what I'm saying. It's going to keep getting more and more skilled. But I still think like those skilled wings, I think it's just kind of like, I was like, those are the types that can really just dominate a game. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's because grew up watching LeBron do that as one. But,
yes.
Yeah.
When did do you remember like when you first started watching basketball or paid attention to the NBA?
So I'd say I'm gonna circle back to NBA basketball in general. Was 2008 when Webster won the state championship. Because I went to like literally almost every game on that like road to the state championship with my dad. Like it was close enough we went. Then we went to the state championship and sat like literally just like a couple rows behind like the Webster bench. So that was that was like when I like really fell in love with it because like literally you know what I'm saying that's my hometown. So it was really cool to see. And then shoot, I mean NBA. I mean, it's probably around the same time. I was a real big Derrick Rose fan, so like, kind of his rise, and then when he started getting hurt, that's when I transitioned to like LeBron, KD, Steph, and which I always kind of like liked him, but like Derrick Rose was my guy. And then he had them injury problems, and I was like, oh, good thing I got these three guys right here, you know. And it was a good time to be fans of all of them because it went Bron and Steph. KD was, battling all of them along the way, and then eventually hopped with Steph, which I know folks hated, but personally I loved because like those were two of my favorite players. But yeah, probably so like in that 8 to 10ish range, and then I think middle school I went to like my first actual Bulls game, and that's when I was like, yeah, no, this is lit.
I remember you had the jacket with the Bulls logo on the back. I don't know what the connection was. I guess you said it was like proximity. Chicago's the closest team.
Yeah, it's like Chicago's the closest team. It was the first ever game I went to. Bulls Lakers. Saw the Kobe and Dwight Lakers, which was kind of dope. Literally, after I went to that game, Dwight came out in the papers and was like complaining about his touches. So like, I was like, yeah, no, that's crazy. He's gonna get up out of here soon.
And he did. He said he had a messed up back. Yeah. So, just the whole journey, man. Like, 2008, seeing the Statesman win state, and then like basketball has been a part of your life for a long time. and then you just go along this journey of being a fan and then hooping yourself and then getting into sports management and then getting your feet wet in like the real world, quote unquote, to go from the beginning to being Rich Paul's assistant. Does it, like, do you take a step back and reflect on how cool that is, or are you kind of in the moment or grounded right now?
It's a mix of both. It's like I'll take a step back and be like, yeah, no, this is dope as fuck, and then I'll like snap right back to it, and it's like there's still quite a ways to go. Um, so yeah, like, but it's definitely cool. Obviously, like it's one of those things. It's hard to explain. Like it's something you can imagine, but you couldn't imagine. Like I can see it coming, but then like there's also no way you could really see it coming. Uh, which I know it sounds confusing as hell, but like, yeah, I don't know. Like I always picture that kind of thing, but then it's also you don't necessarily think it's gonna be like you're actually the person that's doing it. So I have had those moments where it's like, damn, like I really am doing this shit. Um, but then I think also as you go along, and then it kind of like sets in. It's like, less I really am doing this shit, and it's like, I'm doing this shit. Then you just gotta keep doing it.
Keep doing the shit.
Hell yeah.
Do you have like a end goal?
Shit. Be an agent. Work my way up the clutch and kind of see where things go from there.
Shit, I think that's a good way to wrap it up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna have to get out to LA soon.
Definitely. Ooh.
Yeah, man. That was episode number 10. I forgot to tell
Yes,
you
sir.
that.
That's my favorite number.
Is it?
Yep. I saw it was gonna be 10. I saw my boy Govey on 9. I was like, okay, I got that 10 spot.
Nice round, even number.
Yes,
I
sir.
didn't know that was your favorite number.
Yeah, no, shoot, that's the number I played most of my career. Till high school, I couldn't get it. But
Shit, episode number 10 in the books.
sir.
We out. Yes, sir.
That was good, y'all. Sitting over here trying to cough like a